Hey guys, I'm at the 2025 Wasatch Fly Fishing and Fly Tying Expo. We're tying here this year. We're gonna do a little bit of a different video, just talk to some people we know and have a good time. Anyways, let's walk in.
Cheech here with Fly Fish Food. We're hanging out at the booth. I was tying deer hair, burning it. I always find that when I'm burning deer hair and trimming deer hair, it's better to do it not at your own house because you can just throw the mess on the floor. So that's a pro hack. When you tie away from home, just throw everything on the floor and magic people come and pick it up for you.
All right, so the question I have for you is if you had to pick either Tim or Tom to tie all your flies for the rest of your life, who would you choose?
All my flies for the rest of my life? So that's a nightmare scenario just for the complaining alone. Because Tom would probably do it begrudgingly, but something tells me your flies would always be like 6 months behind schedule and they'd have to be singed off. Flagler would totally do it, but then you'd be forced to fish with a fly that took like 8 tools to tie it. So there's that. So if I had to choose, I'd choose one person only, Timothy Rosenflagler. That's the dude.
Hi there, I'm Bert Lay. I'm Vice President and a longtime board member of the Utah Stream Access Coalition. And I think I'm supposed to be providing you an update on what's going on with stream access in Utah. There's some good news. There's a new case that we're bringing and it is on the lower Provo. We are seeking to have the Provo River declared navigable. If the river is navigable, it means the state owns the beds and the people have the right to touch them while engaged in activities that utilize the water. That case has been slow coming, but it's ready to go. And on Monday, the judge granted the Utah Stream Access Coalition our motion to intervene. So we're now formally a party to that case. So that's the main update. We continue to fight the good fight. We continue to do what we can for our members. One thing we're going to have to do going forward, thanks to the legislature, is we're going to have to get consent from the membership to bring lawsuits on their behalf. It's a strange change in the law, but we're trying to do the belt and suspenders thing. So we're going to ask everyone to sign up again through our new website, and that is going to ask you, do you support our mission as step one? If you say yes, you become a subscriber. If you say yes, that'll take you to the next page. That page asks you whether or not you grant your consent for us to bring this lawsuit on your behalf. It's complicated, unfortunately, but it's necessary. So if you're not a member of Utah Stream Access, I guess the big question is, why not? We've been fighting for your rights for 15 years now. And it's free. And so the real deal is this is how we get our access back. And the navigable waters fight that we're bringing on the Provo actually applies to about 10 other of our major rivers. We just have to have the right circumstances to bring a lawsuit on your behalf to restore your access. That's my update.
All right. So the one question I have for you is, what is the single piece of low-hanging fruit, 5 minutes, that someone can do that will help the most?
Well, the single piece of low-hanging fruit to help the most with fighting this fight is first to join USAC. If you feel like supporting us with cash donations, that's fine. It goes into the war chest. We use that to pay our attorneys work pro bono. They're for free. But historians, court filings, all those things cost money. I guess the other thing that everybody needs to do is follow what's going on. So this is not the single thing. I'm getting into 3 or 4 things. But have you ever contacted your elected officials, your representative, your senator? If you haven't, why not? They are elected. They want to hear from their constituents. And you can tell them exactly how you feel about river and stream access. And they need to hear it from you, not from us, from you. Everybody needs to contact their elected officials. So that's not one thing, but those are the important things.
Yeah, so Spencer Higa, I've been at Fly Fish Food for almost 3 years now. I work in the shop a couple days a week with Lance over there. And then 3 days out of the week, I shoot and edit film. So we do a lot of YouTube videos, tying tutorials, gear reviews, podcast. So we got a lot of stuff on the docket, so it should be a good year.
So for Spencer's question, what is the key to shooting an awesome pickleball video?
Oh my gosh, pickleball video. Well, the key to shooting an awesome pickleball video is to, I don't know, that's a good question. I've never been asked that question before. I usually just put my phone in the fence and then just shoot down. But the really good footage is when I hit Lance in the chest. When I'm playing against him, because he's really good, and sometimes I can't get it past him. So the best thing to do is just hit him in the chest.
I'll say it when I think of it. We've been sort of busy. I had a bad case of the flu and other things, pneumonia. Lost a good part of the winter. But I've been working on an 8.35 weight. That's, I think, have come out pretty successful, a parabolic rod. And it's casting well. In fact, I make it 5.6, a 5 or a 6, not a 4. It's just too long for a 4. But that's sort of the new stuff right at the moment. Anyway, that's sort of taken care of up to date, Bob.
Here's my one question.
Okay.
If you had to fish bamboo from another maker that's not yourself, what maker would you choose?
Probably Sweetgrass, and I talked to Glenn Brackett and told him I want a 7.95 weight. And his rods are near as nice as mine, actually. He's an awful good rod maker. He's and I have been making rods about the same length of time, only he's made several thousand and I haven't. I've made several hundred, and that's all he's done. He was Winston Rod Company with Tom Morgan, and then he became Sweetgrass Rod Company, and he's in Twin Bridges, and now he's at Butte and still making rods. Terrific guy. I'd be happy to have one of his rods, and he likes mine also, so that works out pretty nice.
So here, just winding up the Wasatch Fly Fishing Expo. Then I get to go home for a little while. And then May, all my Stillwater schools and hosted trips start with trips to British Columbia, to Saskatchewan, back to British Columbia for 3 weeks. And then up to northern Manitoba to chase pike on the fly. And then the fall comes, back to BC for more Stillwater trips. And then to top it off in November, it's back to Argentina, Jurassic Lake, and then up to the Paraná system to chase golden dorado on the fly. Quite the opposite fish and take to when you're fishing chironomids.
All right, so the question I have for Phil is,
Okay.
I have a fellow YouTuber
Yes?
based in Vancouver, and he fishes Rice Lake a lot.
Okay.
YouTuber. If you could give him any tips to go fish Rice Lake, what would it be?
God, I haven't fished Rice Lake in years. I know where that is. Rice Lake, huh. Well, I would always stick to the shoreline margins. That's where the food is. Any sunken debris, there's probably, as I recall, lots of sunken trees in there, so that's good. Spend 10 or 15 minutes looking around the shoreline. See what invertebrates and bugs you can find, and match those bugs, and keep moving until you find the fish.
Well, we're at the Wasatch Expo. My name's Lance Egan, here chatting with my buddy Bob. We're just hanging out, tying some flies, looking forward to our little shindig at the shop tonight. We have a little bit of, this will probably be airing after that, of course, but we have a little bit of a gathering of fly tiers and fly fishers at the shop later. If you don't catch us there, stop by the shop, get us online, flyfishfood.com.
All right. So I guess the question I have is, if you could only target carp or trout for the rest of your life, what would you pick?
Oh man, that is a tough one. If I could only target trout or carp the rest of my life, I would probably pick trout, but I would do it hesitantly because I do love my carp. But trout will take me to more places, more beautiful places. They will not fight as hard. They will not get as big on average. But I would never take that because I don't want to have to subject myself to just one species. So ideally, I would take both. If you made me pick, I would probably pick trout.
Hey, Cade Moore with Utah Fly Co. here. So starting off the trips on Utah Lake, contact me for more information, utahflyco.com. Get you on the flats boat for some carp.
Who would be the better carp fisherman between you and Lance?
Ooh, well, the last video, Lance did use an indicator, and I'm more drag and drop, so I think I'd probably smoke a few more. I'd say me.
Hey, I'm Brendan Virgil from Virgil Custom Fishing Rods out of Saratoga Springs, Utah. I offer high quality custom builds at a reasonable price. You can start off with a custom moderate priced on up to whatever, sky's the limit, right? Right now I'm really focusing on what I call the High Uinta rod, which is a fly spin cast rod that I developed after going to the High Uintas and only taking a fly rod and not being able to catch any fish on a fly rod for some reason, and the kids that were with me were catching them like crazy on a spinning rod. And so I had only taken the one rod with me, which was a mistake on that trip. So I created one that converts in from a fly to a spin rod. It's a 7-foot fiberglass, which it's a moderate fast action on it. Works really well both ways. But you know, I build just about anything. That's the most custom as I get right there. As far as having to cut blanks, create things myself, like the style of grip, having to fabricate parts out of aluminum, different things like that. But if anyone's interested, you know, feel free to reach out, virgilcustomrods.com, or email me at brendan@virgilcustomrods.com.
All right, Brendan, if you could build and fish only one rod for the rest of your life, what would it be, and what color would it be?
I like the 10-foot 4-weight, 4-piece, and it's going to be my favorite blank, which is North Fork Composite, made in the United States, Woodland, Washington.
16500.
Designed by Gary Loomis. It's a 4-piece rod. I like a fighting butt on it, but it's overtaken, for me, it's overtaken the 9-foot 5-weight, and it's become my favorite rod. It's very versatile, casts a long distance. Even for small water, I can just extend the rod out a little ways and do those short casts, nice and easy. It's hands down been my favorite rod. It's the made out of the North Fork Composite LMX line of blanks. It's been a great rod.
And what color would it be?
It's going to be the natural carbon fiber black.
So I just wanted to say thanks to everyone that came out to the expo. Got to talk to a lot of you. A lot of you had some kind words for the channel. Thanks to everyone that appeared in this video. You know, this was kind of a different one. I got to talk to some friends, familiar faces, and people I know instead of just kind of going around doing the vendor thing. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Anyways, fishing next week. So hope you guys enjoyed this little change of pace, but we'll be back at it next week. Thanks for watching.